Next on Worcester News tonight, Rhode Island makes a pitch to the Pawtucket Red Sox, but Worcester businesses say they still support the team coming to the city. Plus, a prison camp cemetery in Rutland getting some much-needed attention thanks to the work of the town's historical society. But first, we begin tonight with developing news. Good evening, I'm Olivia Lemon. A double shooting in West Boylston has left 2 people dead. State and local police on scene of an industrial park Monday afternoon. According to the Worcester County District Attorney, the victims are identified as a husband and wife, and notes were found at a residence, which is also being considered a crime scene. Police say they were both shot in the head. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office and local police are investigating. Next of kin have yet to be notified. We have a crew on scene and we'll have more details tonight at 10. Rhode Island lawmakers approve a bill which is aimed at keeping the Pawtucket Red Sox in Pawtucket. So the team now must choose stay home or move to Worcester. And in Worcester, businesses say they are staying positive and would support the team if they came to the city. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now with the details. Rosalind?
Olivia, the PawSox still have a choice to make, but Worcester businesses are hoping this city will be the choice. The PawSox must decide whether to stay or move. Rhode Island's General Assembly passed a funding framework last week allowing for a new stadium to be built in Pawtucket. In Worcester, businesses say they would support the team.
We certainly think it's a positive thing for the city of Worcester, and as such, we definitely support anything that's going to be good for the city.
Will be a boost for the local economy. We start with hockey.
Michael Covino is the president of Niche Hospitality Group. They sponsor the Worcester Railers Hockey Club and say they would sponsor the PawSox if they came.
There's a lot of synergies with food and beverage around sporting events, and so that's what we do. So we would be looking to pounce on opportunities to support, but also some opportunities for us to continue to grow our business in and around these awesome things that the city is trying to bring our way.
The Rhode Island House and Senate overwhelmingly supported the financing bill. The PawSox released a statement saying, "The team immediately began to study the enabling legislation when we received it late Friday morning. The club and the city of Pawtucket will meet promptly to begin the discussion of its contents." The city of Worcester declined to comment. The team has been eyeing a space in the Canal District for a new stadium. The Hanover Theater says they would also support the move, saying it will bring families to Worcester.
The more people come to the Worcester, the more they see what's here, what's available, the more excited they get, and the more they'll come back.
Now, under the new legislation, the PawSox would contribute $45 million to the $85 million project if they stay in Rhode Island. Meanwhile, the city of Worcester is still continuing to have conversations with the team. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A well-known Worcester bakery is closing its doors after almost 90 years in business. Mrs. Mack's Bakery and Restaurant on Grafton Street posted to their Facebook page saying after 89 years and 3 generations, the time has come to say goodbye. The business opened its doors in Worcester in 1929. They will be officially closing July 1st. Demolition appears one step closer for the former Notre Dame church in Worcester as another effort by a group trying to save the church is denied. The Massachusetts Appeals Court denied an appeal filed last week by the Save Notre Dame Alliance. 13 people appealed a ruling made by a Superior Court judge who denied a motion for an injunction to prevent the demolition of the Notre Dame church before a state review is completed. The group says these rulings are, quote, a serious blow to their efforts, but they will continue fighting to save it. Recreational marijuana shops could soon be opening in the city. Some school committee members are worried about the close proximity they may have to schools, and it could affect students. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now to explain. Brittany?
Olivia, the school's safety director says the schools have already had issues with medical marijuana. They say earlier this month, an elementary school student found medical marijuana gummies on the school's playground. The Worcester School Committee is asking the City Council to consider a larger restriction zone between schools and marijuana shops.
My concern is that we have children, 500 feet away from a school for a shop. Children are going to be passing by it each day. I don't think that's in the best interest of our community.
The new recommendation is 1,000 feet. Former principal and committee member John Monfredo made the request. He says many parents are concerned.
Many of the parents, especially the parents of children who are walking home from school, had major concerns. We're always talking about the importance of modeling for children, and this certainly is not a good model. Certainly is not something that children should be exposed to.
School safety director Rob Pizzella says there have already been issues at schools with medical marijuana.
We have seen medical marijuana brownies being confiscated on school property, where students actually ingested these brownies and ended up getting sick and being rushed to the emergency ward. We also had an elementary school student very recently on one of our elementary school playgrounds come across and found a medical marijuana gummy bear type package.
Pizzella says if shops are just 500 feet away, people who buy the drug could sell it to students.
We are very concerned that the marijuana that's going to be sold in these pot shops are going to end up in the hands of minors. We know it affects their academic performance, their attendance in schools, and eventually addiction.
Monfredo says there is a lot the city will need to learn as the recreational shops come to Worcester, and he doesn't want children to be in jeopardy.
Citizens of Massachusetts did pass it, and I think they made a major mistake in passing it. Well, if the recreational side comes to Worcester, we have no idea how to control it.
The zoning restriction change will be brought up at Tuesday night's City Council meeting. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Shore Park Beach getting an upgrade just in time for summer. Camps and families took advantage of the new facilities while enjoying the weather today. The $1.4 million construction project built a new bathhouse with restrooms, a lifeguard room, first aid room, and storage. Renovations also include new drainage and stormwater management systems and walkways. The Pearl-Elm garage in Worcester is set to receive a complete renovation. Fencing and risers are around the structure. In a statement Monday, the city says the garage will undergo an $18 million total rehabilitation project, including new concrete and steel, upgraded decking and a new facade, elevators, and stairwells. Earlier this year, the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce asked the city for renovations on the garage downtown. The organization said the garage is in complete disrepair and has reached a, quote, crisis point. The garage will remain open during construction. Records show almost 60 men were buried in a Rutland cemetery, but over the years, their graves disappeared. Just recently, the Rutland Historical Society worked to bring those back. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now to explain. Chandler?
Olivia, the cemetery belonged to a prison camp, which was also a farm manned by prisoners. The camp was demolished to make way for the Quabbin Reservoir, but the cemetery remains, and now with new crosses. 59 white oak crosses in Rutland's prison camp cemetery mark previously hidden burial spots. The cemetery was created when prisoners began dying of tuberculosis.
Some families took the people, but some did not claim them, so that they were buried on the prison camp grounds.
The prison camp first had prisoners in 1904, and its hospital operated from 1907 to 1934 for prisoners with TB throughout the state.
Because we're very high, the treatment at the time was fresh air, good food, and they didn't have the medications to treat it at the time.
Rutland Historical Society curator Helen Viner says the cemetery's original iron crosses disappeared in the 1950s or 1960s, and how they disappeared is a mystery.
It just bothers me that it was neglected.
So the project to replace the crosses began. Through a grant, the Historical Society hired an outside company to use ground-penetrating radar to find the 59 burial spots.
What he sees is not a skeleton, not, what he sees as anomalies in the surrounding soil.
And with help from the state's Department of Conservation and Recreation, crosses were made and installed this month. Viner says the Historical Society often gets research requests on the prison camp, and the project protects the town's history and helps educate residents.
It's usually grandchildren. My grandfather I think he was at the prison camp. Is he buried there?